Look, bro, this has got to be said. You have to know that narcissists do not pick losers. They do not pick weak men. They do not pick the runts of the litter. Female narcissists specifically seek out men who are providers and protectors, ideally who have daddy issues. So if you're feeling bad about yourself, like, oh, I'm such a loser, and how did I fall for this, and like, what did I do wrong, and like all these things that you're literally beating yourself up over, that you're like literally thinking about taking your life over, I'm only telling you because I was there. I grew up with a narcissistic stepfather my entire life who I didn't know at all, right? I didn't know anything about narcissism until like 9 months ago. And then I found myself in this narcissistic relationship the last 3 years. 9 months ago at the time of shooting this reel, I was right where you were at, getting out of this relationship. I wasn't convinced that I wasn't the narcissist. I still was like, I maybe she's right. Maybe I am the narcissist. But then it's like, dude, once I finally got past that stage, it was the ruminating stage where I was just constantly ruminating over and over and over. And this is around the same time that like all of the multiple affairs that she was having were coming out. So like, you know, you go from this phase where thinking that you are definitely a narcissist to like ruminating and pining for her. You miss her so much it hurts, like it makes you sick. And you thinking about all the infidelity, it's just like it makes you like literally physically sick. But then it's like, that's not bad enough, because once that stage done is like you're still in the social media stalking stage where it's like you're not hitting it every day like you were in the beginning, but it's like you tell yourself you're not going to, and then you only make it so long, and then you go check out what's up, and then it just cuts even deeper, and like you realize that your body composition like changes. Like you're sweating profusely and your heart rate is racing, and you're like, why am I doing this to myself? And it's at that point, my friends, it's at that point, brother, you've got to realize that what you are suffering from is called a trauma bond. And trauma bonding happens when you're constantly gaslit. Now, what happens to our brain when we're constantly gaslit is it physically changes. And the hormonal response that your brain produces changes. So what happens when you leave the narcissist, or even when you're in the relationship with her, you are physically and chemically addicted. You are dependent on her bullshit. And I just say all this to say and to remind you, bro, like they weaponize the fact that we're protectors and providers with daddy issues against us. So this is how it works. Men like you and I, we grow up and our father either left us, so wasn't around, was there but was abusive, or was there but wasn't ever present. And so what happens is we as little boys constantly go out and we're trying to earn our dad's admiration, his respect. We want dad to love us. We want dad to pay attention to us. And because he doesn't, and mom understands that, mom dotes on us and loves us, and she's our biggest fan and our biggest cheerleader. And so for all of our emotional needs, all of our mental support, everything that we need, anytime we need coddled or nurturing, the only person we go to is our mother. And our mother just loves us. And it's always been that way. So what happens is we grow up as young men, become high performers, high achievers, and we go out to perform and get results so people will like us, admire us. We want to prove to everybody that didn't love us, that didn't believe us, that didn't respect us, that they should have. Now what happens is you're Mr. Big Swinging Dick because you're making money, you have a little bit of status in whatever field that you're in, and like you're feeling pretty good. And so you find this banging chick, dude, and things move fast. And you're like, dude, I have never even dreamed I could be with a woman as amazing as you. And like, you can't believe how much she just thinks you are the shit, dude. Like she thinks that you hung the moon, dude. And you are like, where has this woman been my whole life? God, I didn't even know these women were possible. You've got to be kidding me. And the only thing that you want to do is love her and take care of her. Like that's literally all you want to do. But then one day somewhere, there's a fracture, there's a change. And all of a sudden, the person that was your teammate and the number one fan of yours in the world seemingly is working against you and hates you. And that's how this whole thing works, because you know how it plays out. Because same thing that she said to me is the same thing she said to you when you tried to leave. And when you first found out about her bullshit and the mask fell and you tried to walk out the door and you tried to leave, what did she tell you? What did she tell us, gentlemen? Oh, just like your dad, you're going to walk out on me and the kids. You're going to walk out on us like every other man does. You're going to not do exactly what you said you're going to do. Typical, right? And because we're protectors and providers, and because of the way that we were raised, it's like we don't understand why the woman is being like this, because she's supposed to love us and nurture us like our mother did, right? But that's not how women are. That's only our mothers like that, just FYI. So we're showing up in this relationship. She feels like we're a grown child because that is how we're showing up, codependent with anxious attachment style because of the father wound that we grew up with. So now here we are with this father wound. We're growing up. We don't ever want to be our father, except we literally are our father and we can't even see it. And she's calling us on our bullshit. And it sucks because she's right, but she's only weaponizing it against us. And gentlemen, we will literally fucking kill ourselves to prove that she's wrong about us. And what's going on simultaneously behind the scenes? Oh yeah, she's talking shit and telling everybody, you know what? I'm having a really hard time with him, but I'm doing the best that I can, right? And that way, when she discards us or reverse discards us, she can point at us and go, look, everybody, he was the abuser, you see? Which allows her to move on publicly without any shame or guilt. And everybody goes, you deserve it after putting up with all of his bullshit. Meanwhile, you have lost everything. She has everything. Nothing about her lifestyle's changed. Everything about your lifestyle has changed, and somehow you are framed as the crazy abuser. My friends, this is welcome to the narcissistic abuse cycle. This is what it is. This is what they do. So again, really, the only reason I even wanted to make this video is because I know there's a bunch of you out there right now who are beating yourselves up, thinking about killing yourselves because you think you suck and you think you're some weak, pussy piece of crap, and that's not true at all. It's literally the opposite. You're one of the baddest dudes that there is. That's why they chose us. They pick the baddest dudes. And after my narcissistic relationship, literally the only thing left to do was to get sober, stop doing cocaine, stop drinking, stop just being a lazy piece of crap who kept breaking promises to myself, who was the type of man that always said I was going to do one thing and then did another. And I knew that about myself. So when she would say those things against me, that's why they were so easy to weaponize against us, because there's truth in what she's saying. And because we're unwilling to call ourselves on our own bullshit, we stay trapped in that cycle. We're just as toxic, but on the opposite end of the spectrum. And it wasn't until I pulled myself out of that relationship that I was able to finally heal my codependency, to finally take care of my anxious attachment style, and literally finally get my shit together. Now, for me, I can't believe how much I've sworn in this video. I don't even swear anymore, but something about it has just been coming through to connect with you guys. But I'll say that the things that have changed me the most was getting sober, and then the thing obviously was giving my life to Jesus. And so I'm not here to say about that. All I want to let you know is if you're going through it, bro, keep your head up because you're a rock star.